Good morning, students. Welcome to the online class. We'll continue with our lesson Atmospheric Pressures and Wind. We will continue from page 101. 111. The Coriolis forces and its effects. If the earth did not rotate on its axis, winds would flow, flow the direction of the pressure gradient. Instead, earth's rotation produced the Coriolis force, which tends to turn the flow of air. The direction of action of the Coriolis force is stated in Ferril's law. Any object or fluid moving in the northern hemisphere tends to be deflected to the right of its path of motion. In the southern hemisphere, a similar reflection is towards the left of the path of motion. The Coriolis force is absent in the equator but increases as we go towards the poles. See figure 13.3. Children, you can see in the northern hemisphere it is turning, the deflation is towards the right, and in the southern hemisphere the deflation is towards the left. The wind is moving in the opposite direction in both the hemisphere. Representation of pressure. Like in the case of temperature, atmospheric pressure is also represented on maps by lines called isobars. Isobars are imaginary lines drawn on a map to join places having same or equal means atmospheric pressure reduced to sea level. Weather map. Weather maps consist of isobars to show atmospheric pressure because different pressure systems cause different types of weather. The daily weather map published in newspaper or shown on the television show isobars. The spacing of isobars indicate the pressure gradient. The closer the isobars, the steeper the gradient of pressure, and the weather is stormy. When isobars are far apart from each other, there is a little difference in atmospheric pressure. Distribution of pressure on Earth's surface and pressure belt. The horizontal distribution of pressure is largely affected by a variation in temperature. Therefore, on the basis of temperature zone, the following pressure belts of low pressure and high pressure can be distinctly marked on Earth. See figure 13.4. You can see all the pressures distribution on the Earth's surface from the equator as it goes to the zones, all the two zones, temperate and tropical zones, the lines which you can see, the equatorial low pressure belt, intertropical convergence belt zones 5 degree north to 5 degree south. This is a zone of low pressure and parallel to the equator where the northeast and southeast trade wind meet. This is also known as doldrums. Children, what are doldrums? Where the northeast and southeast winds are meeting. Those are called doldrums. Doldrum is the equatorial belt of low pressure where the northeast and southeast trade winds converges on the meet each other, producing calm and light surface wind and a strong upward movement of air. The word doldrum has come to be associated with a gloomy, listless mood, perhaps reflecting the sultry air and variable breeze found there. In this zone, strong heating causes surface air to expand and rise. The humid, rising, expanding air causes conversational rainfall as it is cooled in the upper layer of the atmosphere. Despite the calm and light wind, the doldrums are characterized by turbulent and stormy weather with heavy rains, thunderstorms, and squalls. The doldrums are variable both in position and extent, usually moving northwards and southwards with the sun due to shifting of pressure belts. Subtropical high pressure belts. Subtropical high pressure belts lie adjacent to the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. The subtropical high pressure belt extends up to 40 degrees north and 40° south. These belts are main regions of anticyclones. In the subtropical belts, 25° to 35° north and south, the air generally descends. At first, ascending equatorial air starts blowing away towards poles above the Earth's surface. Later, due to rotation, instead of moving polewards, the air starts sinking in subtropics and its piling up creates high pressure belt. These belts are also called horse latitudes because in olden days, because of the absence of surface wind, ships had to unload the cargo to make them lighter. At times, the cargo used to be horse. So, this is called horse latitude. When the ships were passing, children, through this region, they had to unload their cargoes from the ship. They had to put the cargoes down. This is what it is called, horse latitude. Subpolar low pressure belt, 55° north to 60° north and south. The subpolar low pressure belt lie between 55° to 60° north and south. Owing to low temperature in these latitudes, the subpolar low pressure belts are not very pronounced. These are dynamically produced by the rotation of Earth on its axis. In fact, the surface air spreads outwards from this zone due to the rotation of the Earth, which results into low pressure belts on the subpolar areas. The subpolar low pressure belt is more developed in southern hemisphere than in the northern hemisphere. The subpolar region is having low pressure belt rather than in the northern hemisphere. The North Pacific Alunitic Lobe develops near the Alunitic Islands, and the North Atlantic Icelandic Lobe develops near Iceland. Both these cells are dominant in winter and weaken significantly or disappear altogether in summer with the strengthening of high pressure in the subtropics. D. Polar high pressure belts, 75° to 90° north and south. The Arctic and Antarctic polar regions are cold throughout the year. These are the areas of high pressure characterized by permanent anticyclones. Easterly winds spiral outwards from the polar high pressure belt. Of the two polar regions, the Antarctic high is significant in terms of both strength and persistence. In the Arctic, a polar high pressure cell is less pronounced, and when it does from it tends to locate over the cold northern area in winter rather than directly over the relatively warmer Arctic Ocean. So children, till here we will stop and we will continue in our next part of the video, atmospheric pressure and winds. Thank you children.